Now going over to the political part podcast, you have Fani Willis admitting to financial crime and going viral. Granted, I don't think she'll actually get any consequences because 2024 and your political affiliation definitely does matter in that regards. Now, this comes to us thanks to Laura Loomer on X Twitter, and she said, quote, bombshell admission of campaign finance fraud by Fulton County DA Fani Willis. She says Fani Willis appears to have admitted to campaign finance crime while testifying about why she gave her prosecutor lover, Nathan Wade, large payments of cash, which is believed to be Fulton County taxpayer money. This is grounds for termination, and she should actually go to jail for this. Now, thankfully, it's not too long, only about 2 minutes, and as youth might say, it went viral to say the least, gained 2 million views and 43,000 likes. Now, granted, I'm going to play this in a New York Minute here. Let's see, what perhaps this video will actually, maybe she'll bless us with some eloquent speech and justification, and maybe it's all a simple misunderstanding. Maybe it's not, but let's dive in and find out.
But I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life.
As the youth might say, hold up. You're admitting you always have cash in your house. It seems like I wouldn't want people to know that. It's also cash, so it's not worth a lot these days. But, well, I guess maybe, I think it's Georgia. She'll probably be protected. Her house probably isn't in any danger. She's a politician. But, yeah, telling people, yeah, I got lots of money in my house. I mean, the safest place for, well, I guess say, not financial advice, but I would say the safest place for your money is probably I would say a small bank and a safety deposit box. Yeah, that's it. But nevertheless, dive back to the video.
You're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to, because I don't go on many dates. But when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from, if it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. It's been my
So is she talking about money laundering? What?
whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that.
What? So you had a big campaign and you said, oh yeah, I'll just take some cash from my place. Have you ever heard that before? Ever?
Like, to tell you, I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to.
So she's saying a very good practice is to, let me get this right. A very good practice is to have lots of money at your house that could burn down or be stolen. She's saying that's a good practice, just to keep having hordes of cash at your place. I mean, mentally vacuous, yes. Have you ever heard that advice? I don't think a financial advisor or any security expert would say, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Have physical assets at your house. Which, again, most houses in the United States, most of them don't have robust security systems. They're very easy to defeat.
To all women.
So you can't identify when you came into this cash or where the cash came from.
I didn't say I couldn't identify it. No, nobody gives me anything. I am sure that the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me. What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is, so I got divorced in 2005 from my husband. No, it's important. You said, where did the money come from? And I need to tell you where the money came from. And so for many, many years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house at Cade.
What? Who are the? I understand maybe having $100 or maybe a couple $100 in like the kitchen drawer or something. Oh, presume buy a safe first off. I understand maybe having a couple $100. $15,000? Holy mackerel. Or Moses, as some might say. $15,000. And again, where's this money coming from?
Cash. At all times, there's going to be cash in my house.
Again, a big green light for all the thieves out there. She's telling people, oh yeah, there's always cash in my house. What?
Or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
You know which job it came from. Did it come from Fulton County or did it come from a private job?
It came from, what are you talking about? So it could have come from a private job because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So I earned money during that time period. It's probably in there.
You don't
It
know
could
what-
have.
It's probably in there. Which again, using public funds for private activities such as sleeping around with this guy seems pretty mentally vacuous to say the least. Now, granted, given today's political climate, at most she might get an angry letter from someone in politics. She might, maybe I believe they call it a slap on the wrist. So maybe she'll get an angry letter written to her. I suspect that'll be her only punishment. But let's go in the comments and find out. Maybe everyone is an overwhelming majority supportive of her. I mean, probably not, but let's dive in and find out. One of the first comments comes from Paul Zazupa. He says, quote, "Wow, this is bad. Fani just admitted to breaking the law with how she used campaign funds. She now just found another way to make her case worse. Well done, Fani," unquote. Getting 2.5 thousand likes. And yeah, I don't know how mentally vacuous she is. I mean, when it comes to any time you're on trial or any time you're, again, not legal advice, but the good rule of thumb is speak less, not more. And she's giving them so much additional data and she's shooting herself in the high-heeled foot. Now, not as, perhaps worse than the way Ron DeSantis shot himself in the high-heeled boot for his political campaign, which crashed and burned perhaps one of the worst campaigns in history. Now, let's go to the comments here. You have Ultra Super Maga says, quote, "That's called misuse of campaign funds. She admitted to committing a felony under oath. She's burnt toast," unquote. I got 2.1 thousand likes. Let's see here. Sean of DeFi says, quote, "This might become a much larger story than an impeachment hearing. Fani keeping money from her campaign and kept it campaign finance crime," unquote. I got 1.7 thousand likes. Eric Wages says, quote, "These people couldn't handle 1% of what they have put Donald Trump through. They are crumbling under the pressure instantly, and it makes me respect Donald Trump and his composure. The man faced lies, slander, and people trying to throw him in prison and has stood strong," unquote, getting 2.9 thousand likes. Live PD Dave says simply, "Lock her up," and then just a picture of her with a sheriff logo behind her. They got 2.4 thousand likes. Salty Texan says, quote, "Fani Willis didn't pay her taxes and misuses campaign funds. Haul her ass to jail," unquote, getting 1.7 thousand likes. Let's see here. Christina says, quote, "FYSA." Sure, that's something in Urban Dictionary I need to look up. FYS, for your silly agenda? No. FYSA. Let's learn a little bit some today. What does the good old internet say about FYSA? What does that stand for? What does FYSA mean? For your situational awareness. Interesting. Acronyms are cool. They make it sound smart. So she says FYSA. A, it's not commonly referred to as a date when you are paying a married man to have sex with you. B, all women should have cash in their house at all times? Question mark. C, that cash may not be at her house if she is laying her head somewhere else, unquote. They got 433 likes. And yeah, I was going to say, the gentleman was also married at the time, which also shows you how morally vacuous she is as well, in addition to the lack of morals in all of our activities. Daniel simply says, "Lock her up," getting 1,000 likes, and has a picture of Trump dancing in the background as she's saying stuff in court. Let's see. Art Candy says, quote, "That was her own money that she..." Sorry, let me repeat that. Again, I'm not a speaking professional by any means. However, I have a theory. When I first started the show, there's no subscribers, maybe 2. And my speech was terrible. I spoke too fast. I was stumbling over my words, mispronouncing a lot of things. And as the subscriber count has increased, my speaking has improved. Some might argue it's just a modicum of improvement since there's still a lot of errors, but a modicum of improvement is still improvement, to say the least. I have a theory that the more subscribers I get, the more that assists with my lack of speaking skills. So if you can click that button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. So I will attempt to read that again. Again, from Art Candy, says, quote, "That was her own money that she paid for her first campaign. Nice try," unquote, getting 799 likes. Let's see here. Debbie Brownlee says, quote, "She's so full of herself, she thinks she is above any law. I hope she's taken down and sent packing," unquote, getting 459 likes. First words say, quote, "At this rate, every word out of her mouth is another year she'll serve," keep asking her questions, unquote, getting 940 likes. Which, again, I'm actually shocked how, I mean, maybe she just knows she'll never really face any consequences in this day and age. And that's why she's, not worried about it. Okay, Deep State says, quote, can't keep all the lies straight. She just screwed herself, unquote, gains 473 likes. Finally, a contrarian statement. We had to scroll through a few of them to actually find someone who's disagreeing with this or offering some other information. This comes from Ren. Now, Ren says, quote, you know who is going to challenge you on that? Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. She did the same thing, only she spent it on a fence. What? So it says here, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Again, this seems to be an excerpt. It doesn't tell me the actual news article or source that it's from, but it's just text. So the text says, quote, Marjorie Taylor Greene spent $65,000 in campaign funds on her home fence. The fence cost $10,000 more than the median household income for the district, unquote, getting 176 likes. Now, this is the first time hearing that. Let's see here. Interesting. Trying to see if there's any. That is contrary. Again, let me know in the comments. Have you heard that before? That would be concerning to say the least. Well, more than accurate to say the least. Now, Frank says, quote, people like her are why the trust in our system is eroding. She belongs in a cell, not an office. Absolute disgrace. Unquote, getting 830 likes. Let's see. Domika de Ilia says, quote, Fani Willis is a complete mess, trying to filibuster every question, looks like complete idiot and a liar, unquote. Getting 662 likes. Donald J. Trump parody account says, quote, Democrats are beyond dumb, unquote, getting 398 likes, which, again, foolish to say that considering whatever you're doing, whether it be a sports balls event, business, never underestimate your opponent. That's when you lose. So, I certainly are some dumb people that are Republican and Democrat, but I wouldn't say all. Let me see here. Scrolling down a couple bit more. Doreen Victoria says, quote, all charges against Trump should be dropped, unquote, getting 46 likes. Paul E. C. says, quote, as they say about Trump, no one is above the law. It's time for Miss Willis to pay the piper, unquote, getting 28 likes. So a couple contrarian statements, but Liz Burgess also says she said as much as $90,000. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she said as much as $9,000, but has not paid property taxes either, unquote, getting 18 likes. So it'll be interesting to see if she does actually face any consequences, or again, she just gets a nice little angry letter sent to her. So, I mean, does this shift people's perception of her? Is it going to shift, the whole, again, she's prosecuting Donald Trump. Is this going to be a contributing factor? It'll be interesting to see, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of February, so if you click that button, greatly appreciate it. Also, sharing the video, leaving a comment or up thumb or thumb down is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.